Well, Tony Perez Chico was added to the coaching staff this year, and his defensive prowess as a coach is second to none. He's kind of the Brent Strom of fielding. And so we're going to talk about this and why Jeremy Pena is so integral in this defensive improvement for the Astros in 2025.
Jainel Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Heisman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chansey.
Hey everybody, and welcome into another edition of Locked On Astros. I'm your guy H-Town Wheelhouse. I'm flying solo tonight. Eric will be with us back this next week, but we are always positive, always Stros here. Look, you can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on X, Instagram, and TikTok. You can find me at Stros411 on X and on Facebook. You can find me at Back to the Bullpen on X, on Instagram, on YouTube, on iHeartRadio. Look, I'm always positive, always Stros. Make sure you look for Locked On Astros on your Amazon Fire TV. Go to MLB, select Astros, and you can find any of our episodes, and soon coming to Roku. And as well, be on the lookout for the Locked On app that will be launching here pretty soon. So thank y'all for tuning in. We appreciate you subscribing to us. Please not only watch our videos, comment, like, subscribe, go to our community tab, become a part of the discussion, create your own conversation in our community tab. You, the fan, can have a voice just like us, the host. So thank y'all for tuning in. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sports book. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Download the app or head to FanDuel.com to get started today. Now, what I wanted to do is I wanted to didn't want to focus on the game. No, I'm joking. They lost. They got shut out. There were some decent pitching moments. Miguel Uola looked really, really bad today, but it is spring training. We won't read into that. I believe Colton Gordon got the start. He actually looked better from his first start, so he kind of had a bounce back start today. His 2 innings pitched, a decent line for him. But I wanted to focus on the defense. I wanted to talk about Tony Perez Chico because I think bringing Tony Perez Chico into the clubhouse is definitely an added bonus. If y'all remember back to the days of Brent Strom, back to the days of just him being the pitching guru that he was, working wonders with pitchers that came here, turning, Dallas Keuchel into a Cy Young winner, basically making Garrett Cole better, reinventing the wheel. Well, not reinventing the wheel, but getting Charlie Morton on the right track. I mean, just the things he did with pitchers here absolutely just was amazing. He was a magician. And so we haven't really had an infield specialist like we have now with Tony Perez Chico. And, everybody's like, oh, Gary Pettis is gone and, he's retired and all this stuff. And he did have some health issues. He's the windmill and all that stuff. But his time came and went. And now this guy comes in from the Arizona Diamondbacks. And I absolutely love, I love the addition to him in the coaching staff. Rio, he will play outfield. He'll play left field tomorrow. He starts tomorrow. Jordan Alvarez got his first start today. Jose Altuve will be tomorrow. But one of the things that I do want us to focus on is what was the Diamondbacks defensive ranking last year compared to our defensive ranking last year. And Tony Perez Chico is the guy that helped them get to that place. I mean, if you look at the Diamondbacks and who they have in their infield, Christian Walker, 3-time Gold Glove winner, back to back to back. So he's back with this guy. You have the other infielders for the Diamondbacks. I mean, Corbin Carroll, all these guys for the Arizona Diamondbacks that they have there in their infield. And he just created something very, very special that they had fielding wise there in Arizona. And you love to see him now come over to the Houston Astros clubhouse and help contribute there, because he can only add to what we have and make things better. But how does he make things better if we've lost our Gold Glove third baseman, Alex Bregman? He's an infield specialist. Well, that onus resides on the back of Jeremy Pena. And I'm going to show you some of Jeremy Pena's numbers here in a second, but I want to look at the numbers of the 2024 defensive numbers, the Astros versus the Diamondbacks. So I'm going to show this chart and see, this is why, if you're listening, even on the Amazon app, if you have Amazon Prime and you listen to us, you get us ad free, but you can watch us on YouTube and you can see these graphs and charts that we threw up there. But check this out. The Arizona Diamondbacks were number one in fielding. They had the least amount of errors, 62. They had 138 double plays. Now, the Rockies had 164, which is pretty impressive. The Astros had 130. And of course, the fielding percentages, they are separated by just minuscule numbers, 9.89 to 9.85. So it's kind of like a race, kind of like a 100-yard dash. One guy wins, breaks a record by 1/10 of a second. And the guy behind him is 2/10 of a second behind. And so, I mean, these are weird and wild numbers. But if you look, the Diamondbacks were first. We're all the way down beneath the Guardians, the Rockies, the Tigers, and we're just above the Royals. That's where we were last year. Runs against per game, we gave up 4 runs against per game. Our defensive efficiency was 70.4%. You want that a little bit lower up here, and you just compare the numbers. We had fewer putouts. We had about 20 more errors. We had less double plays. And so when you look at where we are right now and where they are now, my mind kept going to this, and we're not talking about the outfield. We're not talking about right field, center field. We're talking about infielders. Okay. We did lose Alex Bregman. We're replacing him with Isaac Paredes. And I paused because I'm going to say something, and y'all are going to accuse me of being a guy that is, I don't know, you think I'm infatuated with Nolan Arenado, but I'm telling you, if you bring Nolan Arenado to this club and you bring him in this year, you put the 9-time Gold Glove winner at third base, your infield gets better. Period. End of story. His defensive skills have not declined. Okay. So if you get him at third, you put Paredes at second, then you've got Jeremy Pena, who we're going to get to, at short, and Christian Walker at first. That is an amazing third base. Now, let's say that we don't get Arenado and Cam Smith comes up. If Cam Smith comes up and he plays third, then you move Isak to second. Obviously, Altuve's in the outfield. No problems there. So you definitely have your options that are available. Guys, I think there's an outside chance that Cam Smith could get a call up. And I was thinking about it today. And I'm not saying he's going to make that meteoric rise when he's in AA and gets moved up to AAA and shoots up to, Dyken Park. But we remember what Jordan Alvarez did when he got called up, and he came up, late June, got Rookie of the Year. I'm not saying Cam Smith's going to do that. Can Cam Smith do that? If he is the player that Joe Espada and all the Astros are saying that he is and can and will be, it's definitely not outside of the realm of possibility. And Dorothy said, Chandler Rome said there's no decision for Arenado. There's no discussion. I understand that. I'm just I'm talking about bringing up our defensive numbers, the different scenarios. You have Isaac Paredes at third, or you have Cam Smith that comes up later on at third, or you bring in Nolan Arenado. And I'm not saying that because there's discussions. I'm just making a point here that we are looking, how do we maximize this focus? But the defense is a focus of Joe Espada. And Joe Espada, when he talked about Jeremy Pena, he had a lot to say about him, he had a lot to say about Jeremy Pena and Tony Perez Chico coming here. And we're going to talk about that after these messages, after we hear about our friends FanDuel. When the game tips off, the NBA action is just getting started. And there's no better place to get in the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game. So even if you miss the opening tip-off or you want to be in a fourth quarter comeback, you can stay in the action. And if you're looking for a bigger payout, you can combine your live bets into a same-game parlay. I love using FanDuel's betting feature because it keeps every moment of the game exciting, whether I'm backing my team for a late rally comeback or picking a player to hit a clutch three. I never feel like I've missed my chance. Plus, the app is easy to use, and when you win, you get paid instantly. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets with your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Again, thank y'all for making us your first listen. Make sure you make Locked On MLB your second listen, where Sully will get you caught up on all the news around the league. Look, Tony Perez Chico, he talked about Joe Espada talked about Jeremy Pena, and these are some of the quotes from Brian McTaggart's article today. He said, "That's why I'm excited to work with him." This is Jeremy Pena talking about Perez Chico. He's a person that brings a lot to the team. He is always willing to work. He focuses on the little things and wants to perfect this art. Perfection's impossible, but we're going to shoot for it with Tony. Okay. Joe Espada said he's always looking for ways to be better. That's the stronger part of his game, is his defense. Perez Chico did notice some things about his defense, that things could make him more consistent. He's got a ton of range. So how can he finish some of those tough plays? Okay. Some things that Tony kind of figured out or pointed out to him that they're working at it. This is what Jeremy Pena said. Jeremy Pena said he's been working on staying more compact on defense and not making as many extraneous movements with his arm when he's fielding the ball. In other words, he can get to the ball. He's just not doing enough when he has the ball. He's doing too much. This is why I'm talking about Jeremy Pena, and this is why I'm focusing on him, is because he no longer has a Gold Glove third baseman to his right hand. He no longer has someone on that right side with him. He now has a Gold Glove first baseman. But Jeremy Pena's defense has got to improve this year. He is the most veteran infielder on this team because Jose Altuve is going to be in left field. And Jose Altuve is going to be in left field whether Arenado comes here or not, okay? He even said it himself, I'll be out there the next 5 years. So get used to Jose Altuve being in the outfield. Now, let me show you some of these numbers of Jeremy Pena, okay? This is how he has regressed in his defense. Pena's outs above average by season. 2022 +7, tied for 10th for qualifying shortstop. 2023 +2, tied 17th. Fell all the way to 29th, tied with -2 outs above average. Now, let's look at his arm strength. His arm strength has decreased. 2022, 84.3, 22nd among shortstops, minimum with 100 throws. In 2023, 83.6 miles per hour, 34th. In 2024, 80.5 miles per hour, 45th among shortstops, minimum 100 throws. And Joe Espada did say Pena's never had an elite arm at shortstop, but he has been at least, this is Brian McTaggart, but he has at least been middle of the pack in 22, and he now is among the lowest in arm strength at that position. So why is it important that we have Tony Perez Chico? Well, because Tony Perez Chico can help him, Coach Tony can help him improve this part of his game. If you can get Jeremy Pena to make fewer errors, to make more plays, to get more putouts, to make more double plays, the Astros rank in defense will go through the roof. Yes, Alex Bregman only has one Gold Glove because he was fighting for Gold Gloves with Matt Chapman, and that was the problem. Correa has regressed even more. Yes, that is correct. Susan said we need rookie Pena back. Look, rookie Pena still, again, arm strength wise, was middle of the pack. He wasn't elite, okay? But Jeremy Pena, with a different coach, with different routines, with different practice, doing different movements, practicing different skills in the infield, he can improve. And if he improves his defense as well as his offense, this is a season where I think Jeremy Pena can blossom. Because right now, even though I think there's a lot of pressure on him because he's the most senior veteran infielder in this infield on this team, in other words, tenure-wise, I think there's also a lot of people not really looking at Jeremy Pena or depending on him to be that guy. So Jeremy Pena can come in a little bit under the radar because everybody's talking about everything else and come out and have a stellar season. If Jeremy Pena has a better season with his glove, if Jeremy Pena can hit for power and can get on base, then that will boost this lineup. So without another addition, and we know that Jim Crane spoke to the media today at the golf classic for the Astros Foundation, and he said they're still working on things. Well, of course he's going to say they're still working on things. Would you expect him to say, no, we're not working on anything? We got it. We got it covered. We got enough guys in the clubhouse. He's never going to say that. Yes, we're still working on things. Doesn't mean they're signing anybody. Doesn't mean they're looking at anybody. That's just what it is. Pena's WAR. Let's look up Jeremy Pena's WAR because I did not look that up. His WAR, and right now, his WAR in 2024 was 4.1. Okay. That was his WAR in 4.1. 2023, it was 3.8. Now this is his just overall WAR. In 2022, it was 5.0. All right. Now if you go to his defense, that is a little different WAR wise. Let's see what we have going on here. I'm trying to look at what he's done. He made 19 errors in 22, only 14 errors in 23. He made 19 errors again in 24. Okay. So he made 19 errors in 157 games started versus 19 errors in 132 games started. So he technically made fewer errors. He had a 9.69% fielding average. His DRS went from 16 to 7 to 4. So things have decreased over the years. That is why you bring in a coach like Coach Tony, and you bring him in and he focuses and hyper focuses on someone like Jeremy Pena. He's been focusing a lot on Cam Smith. That's why I put the picture of him working with Cam Smith. And they're working on the small glove movements, the small side-to-side movements. In other words, like, remember he said, trying to be more compact, trying to be less herky-jerky with his motion, be more smooth. So here in this next segment, we're going to talk about, will the offense follow suit on the improvement aspect? Hey, thank you for tuning in to Locked On Astros. It's H.N. Wheelhouse. Make sure you make us your first listen. Make sure you make Locked On MLB your second listen. And check us out on Apple, Google, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Remember to check us out on the Amazon Fire TV app. Search MLB, search Astros, and you'll find us. Soon we'll be on the Roku TV app. And as well, check out the new, when it comes out, we'll announce the official date, the Locked On Sports app. So all your favorite teams in one app. It's going to be phenomenal. So again, thank y'all for tuning in. I see everybody here. I see everybody's name. I'm not going to try to call everybody out at this point because we've got so many in here that I am afraid I would miss someone. Doug, I hope. Sounds like middle of the pack shortstop. Yes, Jeremy Pena is a middle of the pack shortstop. That's why I think his defense is important. Now, the question is, what does the offense do? does the offense improve? And I just think that Zach DeCenzo is looking really good in spring training. Christian Walker's looking really good in spring training. Isaac Paredes, he's okay. I mean, I'm not gonna hang my hat on one start and one strikeout and 2 flyouts by Alvarez today. But I think you've got Alvarez, who to me is, after someone like a Shohei Ohtani. Actually, can Alvarez have a better offensive year than both Ohtani and Soto, or Ohtani, Soto, and Judge? He's clearly in the top 4. Okay. I put Alvarez in the top 4: Soto, Ohtani, Judge, and I put Jordan Alvarez. I mean, you could put guys like Freddie Freeman in there. But this offense has absolutely got to take off and go off, because if they can do that, then they will see a lot more wins than they saw last year, because you do have a division that I believe, ladies and gentlemen, is going to end up being a lot better than what we think it's going to be. I know everybody's calling it the weakest division, but I really think that the Texas Rangers are going to get better. The Oakland A's are going to be good. The Mariners, I don't know, man. I don't want to bet on the Mariners. I saw this. I posted on X this great. It's like a 5-second clip. I think it's from Family Guy. And I think the guy originally was wearing a Mets hat. They put a Mariners logo on it. And they were like, this is the first pitch of the season. And the guy throws the pitch and he strikes out and he goes, and that's the end of the season. And I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Mariners fans, the season's over before it starts for them. It seems like the Mariners got a great pitching staff. I mean, they've got some stud pitchers over there. They just don't have an offense. The Astros were like 11th or 12th in the league, it looks like, right below the Tigers, right above the Royals. Actually, no, come on, man. This is alphabetical order. Let's go with OPS plus. Where were the Houston Astros last year? They were actually 5th in OPS plus. Wow. In home runs, they were around 10th with 190. I think they hit 200 plus home runs this year, folks. The Yankees had 237. I think the Astros get around 210, 220 home runs. Let's see on base percentage. Let's look at that. Houston Astros had a 322 on base percentage. The Diamondbacks had a 337 on base percentage. So their offense, I mean, to me, if their offense gets better and if the pitching staff does what we know they can do, the relief pitching's looking good, the starting pitching's looking good. I'm sorry, Robert Flores, I know you're a friend of the show, but I don't see where the Rangers take us in the end. And I'm not disrespecting the Rangers. I just know what we have before us. And so, yeah, like I said, the Rangers are a threat, but the Houston Astros aren't out of it either. Okay. They just aren't out of it. Trade for George Kirby. There's no way this side of heaven that the Mariners are going to trade George Kirby to the Houston Astros. There's no way. That town would riot. Well, maybe their little autonomous zone would riot, but I mean, they would absolutely go bonkers in Seattle. I mean, they were shopping Luis Castillo. I mean, you don't have a lot of stability there. I don't know what they seem to make really good moves and then they make really bad moves that follow it. And they just don't really, I don't know. I just don't believe in Seattle. I would have an easier time believing that the Angels surprise people this year than the Seattle Mariners. That's how much confidence I don't have in the Mariners. But we're here talking about the Astros. Jay says it'll come down to staying healthy. That's right. That is it. I said on the RP3 show this morning, they were asking me about my confidence in the Houston Astros winning the division. And I said, look, they can win the division. They're going to be in the playoffs. They could even contend for the ALCS or maybe a spot in the World Series. But they have to stay healthy and everything has to go right. I mean, you have to caveat everything at the beginning of the baseball season, because I go back to 23. I know it's a year we hate to think about, but in 23, none of y'all And if you did, then maybe you had a sports almanac that you got from the past. You did a whole, Marty McFly thing, went back to the future. But if you had the Arizona Diamondbacks versus the Texas Rangers in the 23 World Series, you were probably on some pretty serious drugs because nobody had that, okay? So this is why we play the season. This is why we go out, and this is why we compete day in and day out. Or the Astros, okay? Some of y'all are saying a 92 to 93 win team takes the division. I agree. I mean, I've got some people being very bold saying the Astros win 95 games. I mean, these are just, like I say, just fans. I mean, I'm not really much more than I guess I'm a fan, commentator, podcaster, influencer, whatever you want to call me. But I see the Astros. I think the Astros win 91 games this year. I think 91, and I want to say my high bar is 95, but I think 91 is a realistic number. If you get to 91 wins, I think you win the division. 92, 93 definitely wins the division this year. Look, Chazzy B, I don't deny that the Rangers will be good. The Rangers will be better than they were last year. They had a stinker of a year. Jay, I did not see Nestor's quote, Nestor Cortez's quote. Share it with me because I am not aware of that. Look at Eugene Palmer, 98 wins. Dude, so I have officially, I'm giving you my title of always positive, always Stros guy. You get that, Eugene. That is your title today. You've earned it. So I'll give you the always positive, always Stros award. That's what we need to do. We need to start awarding our fans with always positive, always Stros awards. Do y'all like that idea? Carl says 88 wins or 65 wins. Hold on. Carl, brother, we got to talk. 65. Wait, hey, blink twice or type 2 dashes if you're being held by the Yankees, because there's no way Carl, fan of the show, predicted the Astros get 65 wins, dude. Even with injuries, come on. Let's see. Nestor said today that the Yankees were the better team last fall. Oh, wait. So Nestor Cortez claimed that the Yankees were better than the Dodgers. The Yankees only won one game in the World Series. It didn't go to game 7. No, the Yankees weren't the better team. They clearly failed. They got the assignment. They read the rubric for those of y'all that are educators, and they failed miserably. They won one game. They may have passed with an A+ in the regular season, but we know what regular season wins get you. I mean, ask the Seattle Mariners, who set the record for the major leagues. 115 games. You know what they did? They didn't win jack squat. So it's like the great quote in Moneyball: nobody cares if you lose the last game of the season. Okay? So no, Nestor Cortez. More like, let's call him Fester Cortez. Like, what are you from, like the Addams family, bro? That's not even a hot take. That's it. That is something I expect from a Yankee fan. But yeah, and Nestor got rocked. And he's not even on the Yankees anymore. Like, come on, man. Jay, that almost got me going, dude. That almost got me going. I almost went off here. Eric would have put me in single screen mode and let me have my day. Nestor became Brad Lidge. That's brutal. Poor Nestor. Fester Nestor. I'm going to call him Fester Cortez. Hey, Uncle. I mentioned him once, okay, dude? I mentioned him once today. How do you think the Astros are going to pay him without going over the luxury tax? Look, I don't know. I'm just talking earlier in the show. I was mentioning it because I was talking about the different options at third base. If you have Paredes at third base, okay, and Cam's going to come up, then Cam will go to third base. Paredes will go to second. If you have Arenado, if you bring Cam up, you put him in the outfield. That's what you would do. I'm just saying. Oh, and talking about Van Wy. Van Wy looked good again today. I reached out to the scout, Jim Stevenson, who actually scouted Logan Van Wy, and we're going to get him on the show soon. I'm going to set it up with him tomorrow. We'll have him on, one of the Astros scouts, and he'll be able to talk about the players that he signed. We'll talk to him about the scouting process. It should be a really good show. I really hope y'all show up for that interview. It definitely will be fun. Yeah, first battery face, exactly. So yeah, and Doug says the Cardinals will eat some of his contract. Look, but before I set y'all off or trigger anybody, I'm just mentioning that if he came here, this is what it would look like. But I'm telling you right now, to wrap this show up, I think Cam Smith gets 15 games in AA and gets moved up to AAA. And I think if he goes up to AAA and if he's absolutely crushing the ball and he's killing it, and you've got Isak at third and he's killing it at third base, Isak, come here. We got to talk. We're going to be moving you to second. We got Cam Smith coming up. He's going to be taking third base. We're going to move you to second base. You good with that? Okay, excellent. Hey, aircraft carrier, let's go, kid. Let's rock and roll with Cam Smith. I believe that Cam Smith might be here sooner rather than later. The Astros are absolutely giddy on this. Now, in my mind, the timeline I wouldn't mind seeing is him coming up as a late season call-up, being on the opening day roster. But if he's ready, he's ready. The guy's 12, 15, and 15 games at the three different levels in one season. Wasn't known for his power. His first stint in single A, he hit 6 home runs. I mean, and then and I'm not saying 2 spring training at bats determines that. Let's watch the kid. He's been playing third base every time he goes out there. So they haven't shown a propensity to move him to the outfield. I love this kid. He was 1 for 3 today, got another hit. And look, I am absolutely excited. Thank y'all for tuning in. This has been a great show. Man, this flew by. We'll be back with Eric and myself. Y'all, thank you for tuning in to Lock On Astros. We are downloaded Astros podcast. Why? Because you, the followers, the listeners, our fans, give us your viewership, and we thank you for letting us be a part of your day. You know what? I'm H-Town Wheelhouse, and as we say, we're always positive, always Stros, and you know what? Go Stros. I'm out. Great show, y'all. I'm jazzed. Woo! Let's go. Jose Altuve starts tomorrow. That's right. Oh, that's right. I forgot to tell you. Jose Altuve starting in left field tomorrow. Again, I'm out. Peace.